Hey, small group leaders. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you all. And today I'm bringing a prompt for you. I don't know if your groups are going to be talking via Zoom or meeting in some other way, but I want to talk a little bit about the prompt from the lesson and also just about where we're headed in this COVID crisis and some of, I guess, the thoughts about reopening the church and where we're going with that. So let me start with that. Right now, the shepherds and the ministers, as we're going to announce on Sunday, are looking at, carefully thinking about all the options for reopening. And one of our top priorities is to launch our small groups safely and successfully for all of those that feel like they can do that before we get back to reopening the worship services. And it seems like this is the best way to begin. So we certainly don't want anyone to meet if they don't feel safe. But we do want to help you launch your groups or relaunch your groups in safe and creative ways. And so the prompts are going to continue. Some of you have asked, are we going to keep doing small group prompts every week? Yes, we are. I'm going to be providing them every week. And some of you have asked if your groups can continue meeting through the summer. And the answer is, of course you can. Groups never have to take a break. You're welcome to meet throughout the year. That's always permitted. And of course, you're encouraged to do that safely and in whatever ways you can feel comfortable with throughout the spring and the summertime. So a couple of those ways, of course, might be through Zoom or other video conferencing apps. That's a great way to meet, to talk a little bit, to share. You can get up to 40 minutes free with a free Zoom account. And you might even be able to find some other ways to do the same kind of thing with other video applications, but Zoom is a great one. Another great way to get your group together safely is to do one of these parking lot tailgate or out in a grassy lawn or in a park with lawn chairs where you just keep your distance. You spread out, you don't touch, you don't hug and all of that, but you still visit. You can bring a lunch or of something of your own and just talk and visit that way is another great way if you feel safe doing that to meet. And so we want to encourage you to be flexible and to think about what works for your group. After all, our core values for small groups for several years have been smallness, flexibility, consistency, and spiritual purpose. So, smallness usually means like 10 to 12 people. I know a lot of the groups are bigger than that, and that can't necessarily be helped right now. But, you do what you can in that way. Flexibility means make this work for your group. You need to pick a weeknight, you need to pick an afternoon, you need to go out to the park, maybe go on a trail, go on a long walk on one of our nice trails in the area. Just be flexible and creative, be safe, but find ways to connect and interact. Spiritual purpose, of course, is why we give you the prompts, and consistency means just stay in touch. Keep seeing each other face to face somehow, whether it's digitally or in the flesh, just keep tabs on each other. You are the first line of defense for each other. You are shepherding each other underneath the leadership of our shepherds and elders and the chief shepherd, Jesus. So thank you for what you do. Keep at it. Send your questions in to your coaches or to me, and let us help you in whatever way we can. Now, here is the prompt for this week. In the sermon, we are talking about Psalm 68, in which God is the defender and the provider for the fatherless and the widows and the poor. And there are some great references in there to songs we sing in the church and to New Testament scriptures as well. And the story that we're telling in the sermon is about the God who provides for needs. And we're thinking about the needs of livelihood, specifically people, their earnings, their income, but also then the things they buy with that, like cleaning supplies and food and just daily necessities around the home. So people's livelihoods. And what we're providing this week is another spiritual first aid worksheet. Now, last week we gave you the one that had to do with belonging needs. This one has to do with livelihood needs. So here's a sample of the questions on this week's sheet. Do you have the medicines you need? Do you have the food and water that you need to be nourished? How have you been doing with exercise? How would you describe your dietary habits? How is your sleep right now? Are you still sheltering in place? Has this affected your employment? Are you struggling with any bills? Where are you staying? How long can you stay there? Is it adequate for the people staying there? Do you feel safe? There's a whole bunch of questions on this sheet. And as a leader, you'd probably want to just read through these and pick 2 or maybe 3 that you might use as conversation prompts for your group, judging based on how you know your group and who's in there, which questions you feel like might produce conversation. This is a rich resource, and I hope that you'll keep this forever, because you just never know when you might need to ask these kinds of questions with someone you're discipling or with the group that you're leading. And we'll be releasing a couple more of these in the weeks to come. So if you missed last week's, go back and get it from the worship page or from our Facebook. And this week's, it has to do with livelihood needs. So check in on each other using this tool, and we hope you'll have a successful conversation and some good spiritual time being flexible somehow. God bless you. Keep at it. Don't give up. We love you, and I know sometime soon we're going to be able to all be together again, and it's going to be wonderful. God bless you. Bye.